Okay, so this video hopefully will be under 30 minutes. The reason why I want to make it shorter is because I'm going over mostly books I've shown before. This is the comics I'll be reading in August, but I've added some, obviously. I've added some because of the monthly image comics I like to add for my PC. Now, it's possible I add some more as the month goes on, but in the middle of the month, I'll be going on vacation. I don't want to bring them with me. I want to finish, honestly, I want to have finished all of these by then. That's why I'm not even adding the two that I got in the library yesterday that I'll probably be reading when I'm away on vacation. So I'll probably do like a little video about that, like, oh, the comics will be reading on vacation, and then that'll be that. But so far, this is the comics I'll be reading in August. Some of August, but definitely August, in general August. Already trailing off, let's not do that. Alright, so first up is Family Force 5. Now, it's probably going to be the last time I do this. The whole thing where, oh, the library has it, but I also have it. Now, the only reason why I do that is because way back in the day with Flawed, TLDR for that, I forgot I put in a materials request for my local library to get their own copy of it when I bought it myself. And that was fine. I wasn't super overly pissed off because of the way that I buy comics. No, it was like whatever. It was only $15. If I had paid like I did pay full price. If I had paid, if it was like the Bitterroot Omnibus, which was like $65, and I had paid every last penny, and then forgot that I had put it into the library as the same exact book, yeah, I'd be a little bit angry there too. But that was way, and honestly, I was fine because I was stuck between two sets of comics I wanted to get, and it was better to get Bitterroot rather than the other pile of comics I wanted instead. And I forget what the other pile was, but it was just kind of like, hey, Bitterroot, Flawed, the other Chuck Brown book that's the name of which is escaping me right now, and so on. And then I had also gotten Outcast by Robert Kirkman, so it was a nice little stack of books there. But yeah, Family Force 5, and this is written by Matt Braley, and this is not a reread. So that's what I'm going to do for each of these books, because the Image Comics pile, where either just published by Image, or they're written by writers who have done work for Image. That's the whole trend here. For every single book, too. So that's why I like to mention the names of the writers. I'm not going to say what they did for Image, obviously. That would be too much, and I don't think that that's not what I want to do anyways. Am I saying it like that? I don't know. No, what I was trying to say is that that's not the focus of why I do that. I just mentioned the author because I like mentioning author. But moving on. Next up we have, and if honestly I do implore you all to look up what these writers have done for Image if you're interested, but to do that would be just make the video a bit too long, and I don't think that's necessary, in my opinion. That's not what... Clementine Book 1 by Tilly Walden. So I got Book 1, which I've read all of, so this is a reread. Read the entire thing, but then I had only read half of Book 2 before I found out that they were finally coming out with Book 3. Now, those of you, I do want to mention something because I do want to mention something. Yeah, I mentioned something. That's how the video goes. I do want to mention this. Get the elephant out of the room. It is. I would never put in a request for the local library to the interloans or otherwise. I would not put in an interloan library book. You know, it's my library getting books from other libraries, or get a book from my library that I knew a lot of people wanted. Like I was. I was the first person, and there was 45 people behind me that wanted the book after I wanted it. And while it's still like, yeah, okay, it's just the luck of the draw, you know, sometimes, you know, they know they have to wait anyways. But to find out because this kid is being weird about it, it's a novelty at the end of the day for me. The reason why I do this, it's not like I'm afraid when I'm reading the book, I'm going to crease my copy, and it's going to be, you know, no. It's just the fact that they have it, number one, and two, hey, you know what? I started out Clementine. Clementine started out as a library book. as a comic I checked out from the library. So now it's on my PC, so it's kind of come full circle. But that is the last week. There's a few more other books that I have on my holds on my account, and even those I might just take off. Tokyo Ghost is a good example of when this makes sense. Now, I have the soft covers of Tokyo Ghost by Rick Remender, but the hardcover is what the library has, and the hardcover is like oversized. It's the size of a DC Absolute Edition. So reading Tokyo Ghost in that format is nice. But I also own the book too. I'm not too picky, but that's why I was fine with getting soft covers. I'm not too picky about the format of a comic. I don't need it in this format. I don't need it in that format. It's just, might as well, you know? But yeah, if I found out that, and Revival is the same thing there too. I have the compendium, but I wanted to read it in the oversized hardcovers the first time around. Second time around, same with Tokyo, and then the third time with Tokyo Ghost. I have read that before, and it's really good, by the way. The third or fourth, I think at this point, we're at the fourth. So fifth time, I'll probably read my copy of the soft covers. But I want to read it like one last time in the oversized hardcover format for Tokyo Ghost. That makes sense. Revival, it makes sense. Revival, the deluxe editions for Revival, unlike Tokyo Ghost, is the size of a DC omnibus, whereas the Tokyo Ghost, did I say Tokyo Ghost? Revival is the size of a DC omnibus. Tokyo Ghost is the size of a DC Absolute Edition. So even though it's so Revival, I have the compendium, but I want to read it in the omnibus. But they didn't have them. The library that had them did have them, but they're having a huge change at that library, and like they're renovating, and the library is like, yeah, we'll give you some books, but other books we won't. We're going through renovations, and we don't have to. We're not a library anymore. Basically, we're a half library. All right, moving on to. So this is a good example. So this is Rocket Girl volumes 1 and 2. Both. Now I own these. This is my copy, not the library's copy, not anything like that. I'm fine with just reading my copy of Rocket Girl. So the trend for the non-OGNs from Image Comics, that whole monthly thing, the trend this month is 2-volume series that are 10 issues each. Obviously not for the OGNs. The OGNs it's all in one. It's kind of hard to do that when it's all in one. But this is collecting all 10 issues of Rocket Girl across 2 trades. That's the trend. I want it to be 2-volume series, 10 issues each. And half of them are rereads, half of them are not. This is written by Brandon Montclair, and this is a reread. Now, first time I read this, I wasn't too impressed by it, but I had that feeling in my gut when I ordered this for Christmas, that in Christmas of 2023, by the way, that I would like this a lot more the second time around. So time will tell if I end up liking it. But yeah, it's just written by Brandon Montclair. I thought it was co-written by Amy Reeder, but she's just the artist. So same creative team behind Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, which I found really cool. When it's the same creative team in general, when it's the same creative team behind other comics, because you'll have like the writer of this series, the artist will be different. So it's not the same exact creative team, but it's nice when it's the same exact creative team. Like Joe Henderson's Image work, same creative team for both the series he's done for Image. Like same exact, even down to the letterer. Exorcisters volumes 1 and 2, written by Ian Boothby, who was well known for writing the Simpsons comics. And back in the day when I was collecting the Simpsons comics, I do want to add this too, I don't collect them anymore. And I don't think I ever will. Nothing against the Simpsons comics, but they were just, they were amusing to me back then. Unlike the show, I've outgrown the comics. The show I watch like religiously every now and then. I'll kind of get back into it, and it's one of those shows that I used to watch it religiously, and I want to get back on the show. Like it's one of those things where, like I think I should every weekend. When I go back to work, every weekend I binge watch 5 episodes, and that's part of the reason why I do 11 comics per. I'm getting too sidetracked. Point is, I love the show. Still watch the show. And in the first 10 seasons, by the way, I've kind of stopped watching new episodes of the TV show. And that's a great example of how I feel with the Simpsons comics. The Simpsons comics to me are like the modern show nowadays, but the better episodes. And you got some really good issues of Simpsons comics. Those are almost always written by Ian Boothby, who writes Exorcisters. And this is not interchangeable with Simpsons comics. They are very different. They're not redundant or anything like that, which I really appreciated with this series when I first read it. And obviously, it was a reread. So the whole thing of why I buy books that the library already has, it's because it started out as I liked it enough that I bought it myself. That's the case with Exorcisters. But at this point, I'm just doing everything. If it's by Image and the library had it, I read it before, that's going to be added to my PC. And I don't mind doing that, because at this point, it's like one per month. The way I'm doing it, at least, the way I'm budgeting, is I'm able to add at least one per month of the library had it, now I'm adding it to my PC. And I don't mind that, because oh, I could have gotten this instead, but I got this. I don't mind that. It's worth it for me at the end of the day. But yeah, written by Ian Boothby. Exorcisters Volumes 1 and 2, and yet again, 10 issues. That was a trend. And also, obviously, I think I made it pretty obvious, but a reread. Now we are on the rest of the Image books will not be rereads. Bloodstained Teeth Volumes 1 and 2, written by Christian Ward. Cannot wait to dive into this series. This was one of those books that, first of all, like, Volume 1 took forever to come in when I first bought it, and it's just one of those things where I wonder if that's the reason why I'm so excited, is because I could finally get to read the series I was so excited to own. But also, I want to check out, I want to see if Christian Ward is as good as a writer as he is an artist. Those of you who are probably like, who? Christian Ward, he sounds familiar. He's an artist. Usually he does artwork, but now he's a writer, and I think this was his debut, honestly. Might not be, though. I could be wrong. But Bloodstained Teeth, he definitely is writing. And he does some artwork here and there for Bloodstained Teeth, but not the whole entire series. Again, 2 volumes, 10 issues. Same thing here with Eternal Empire, 2 volumes, 10 issues, and this is written by Sarah Vaughn. Very interested in checking this out. Oh, sorry, Sarah Vaughn and Jonathan Luna. Now, why am I saying it like that? Well, he does script assists and helped out with the story. So he has two credits to the story, Sarah Vaughn, Jonathan Luna, but script assist credit for Jonathan Luna, script in general for Sarah Vaughn. So, when script assist Jonathan Luna, but main script is Sarah Vaughn, I say Sarah Vaughn is involved. It was involved with this series, and kind of Jonathan Luna. But very interested to check the series out. It looks very Star Wars-esque. With this, especially. This cover, especially. This one, yes, too. Actually, both covers. Sarah Vaughn, I have read her series Sleepless 4 times now, I want to say. And the most recent time I read it, it was my copies. And it's one of those series that starts out a little bit slow, but once it gets going, it's so damn good that you kind of want to go back to when you said it was slow and see if it changes, Like with Rose. Rose, I felt that same way. And then I reread it for a second time around. And it started out as a PC book, by the way, my personal collection. The library did not have any of Rose by Meredith Finch. And then I reread it, and then Volume 1, it's recent too, and Volume 1 was just as good as 2 and 3. So I wonder that will happen with Sleepless, because Volume 2 was much better than Volume 1 for Sleepless, in my opinion. Not to the point where Volume 1 was like, I was ready to give up on it, but to the point where I was like, I kind of want this to happen, this and this and this, and there's more like story structure to be heightened. That was my main complaint. The story structure was kind of iffy in the first volume. The second volume, it became just incredible, and the story structure was exactly what I wanted for a series like that. Okay, speed running for the last few books, because I've shown these before. I'm just gonna say reread who writes it, what the series is, obviously, and then move on. The Displaced, Ed Brisson, not a reread. So it was one I'm reading for the first time ever. So this and Lotus Land by Darcy Van Polkes. I'm going to mention this again. Very surprised to find both these books, because both these comics at the library, so when I put them in, it was looking like I wasn't going to get them. And the library that I mentioned before, the one that had Revival and they're going through renovations, this is where I got this book from. It's that same ass library. So very awesome that happened. Very awesome that happened. Very excited to finally be able to read these for the first time ever. And check out Darcy Van Polke's work, as Darcy does not have a whole lot of writing credits, and even less at a library. It's like, why not have what the library? Why not have what they have? You know, it's like, just get like one more book. Just shell out $20 more, and there you go. And they're both in Boom Studios too. Ant-Man, Nick Spencer, reread, and the first 2 volumes made it pretty obvious that the reread, next time I read this, will be probably never. It was just pretty, it's just standard stuff. The first 2 volumes are just, actually 3 volumes, sorry, because Second Chance Man is the actual volume 1. So this, even though it says it's volume 1, that's not volume. This, even though it says it's volume 1, is not volume 1 of Nick Spencer's Ant-Man run. It's actually Second Chance Man. This is actually volume 4. Let's say, I was gonna say that now. Volume 4, as to not confuse people. So the first 3 volumes, it was just standard superhero stuff, and it was just kind of tedious, honestly. Had a little bit of a bite to it because Nick Spencer is a very competent writer, but I probably won't be reading this again anytime soon. Maybe a year, or maybe 2 years from now, when I completely forget what happened in the series, but very standard stuff. And Volume 3, will it still be standard? I imagine so. It is a reread, and I remember the first time I liked it enough, but I also, like, I don't remember too much, like, what score I give it. But I remember it being, like, it's not like Volume 3 was the crowd pleaser and, like, it went off with a bang and it was much better than the previous volumes. No, I think it was pretty standard. It was pretty the same way throughout the entire run. Star Wars Lando, Rodney Barnes, is the Rodney Barnes Lando book, not the Charles Soule one I keep getting confused with. And it's a reread, by the way. Lando Double or Nothing. Reread Cable and Deadpool. It looks Volume 1 of Fabian Nicieza's run on Cable and Deadpool. And this is definitely 100% a reread because I absolutely enjoyed it. One of the best Deadpool runs. And that's past this Justin Comics saying that, not present. So, time will tell if I stand by that. When I finish that, all 8 volumes, all 50 issues, time will tell if I still feel the same way as I did when I started out. So yeah, Lando was also a reread every 6 months kind of book, but kind of, it's like with Ant-Man, well, more so with, unlike Ant-Man, more so with Lando than with Ant-Man. I don't really remember how I felt about the first time I read it, because again, I keep getting confused with Charles Soule Lando. I almost want to say one I like more than the other. Trinity, Fabian Nicieza, and Kurt Busiek. The first and second time I read this, especially the second time, I cited this as being one of the only Kurt Busiek's work that I liked. Fabian Nicieza is definitely, like, I have a better track record with, but Kurt Busiek, it's like, don't like it, unless it's Marvel's and this, and Autumn Lands, it was just kind of, like, Astro City, even Astro City, I was like, with, and it's just Kurt Busiek's writing I don't like, but this one was good. This one gave me what I wanted, so to speak. Ultimate X-Men, Mark Millar, not a reread. Flash, Brian Buccellato, and Francis Manapul, they're both writing the series. Reread. I Walk with Monsters, Paul Cornell, reread. So, I Walk with Monsters and Flash were both, I like them so much I want to read again and again and again. You know, like yeah, that's good. That's a good example. And then I Walk with Monsters is like the ultimate example of a reread I like so much I want to reread again and again and again and again. Way more than Flash, and that's saying a lot. So definitely, I already highly recommend I Walk with Monsters, and I haven't read it again since the last time. And again, that's what past is Justin Comics is saying, not present. Black Widow is going to start out as a reread. Kelly Thompson is going to start out as a reread, but then it will evolve into I've not read this at all. Reading for the first time. Because I only read Volume 1. Kanto, David M. Booher, reread. And definitely liked it so much I want to read it again and again and again. So the 3 criteria for rereads: reread to refresh, like in Black Widow by Kelly Thompson's case, I want to finish off the series. Reread every 6 months, I say on average, because I liked it so much. And some more so than others, like Transmetropolitan is up there with Kanto, but Kanto is above. If they had to rank it, Transmetropolitan would be down here. Kanto and I Walk with Monsters would be up here, and I Walk with Monsters would be actually way up here. But Transmetropolitan is towards the bottom, but still this is closest to every 6 months. Is the best way to explain it. Warren Ellis. Again, speed running past these. I've already shown these off before, and I don't want to bore people. And it's a nice way of just saying, hey, here's what we'll be reading, and just to refresh, because I have finished them too. That was the other point I was trying to make. The Boys Omnibus Volume 2, Garth Ennis, not a reread. That started out as a reread, so that's a good example of that second criteria being reread to refresh. But reread to redeem in Rocket Girl's case, because I didn't like it the first time that much. Rereading it to see if the second time is better than the first. Batman Secret Files, Ed Brisson and James Tynion, along with Margaret Maki and Tony Patrick, but I got this because of Ed Brisson. And it's a reread for Batman Secret Files. And it's been a while, so I want to say it was a reread because I liked it so much. Thor, Donny Cates, started out as a reread because I read the first 3 issues of the 6-issue series. 6 issue volume, not 6-issue series. It's more than 1 volume. Time will tell if I am going to be angry or not angry about the fact that the library only has volume 1. And thoughts that I can only read Thor, Donny Cates for free and not pirate it, I'm SOL. Because all the library has is volume 1. Deathbed, Joshua Williamson, reread to redeem. Night Terrors, Joshua Williamson, reread every 6 months. I enjoyed it so much. That much. Wonder Woman, one of my favorite runs of all time on any character ever, period. Top 10. Brian Buccellato. So definitely a reread because I like it so much. And I felt that, I've read Wonder Woman, Brian Azzarello's run 50 times over. And my opinion has not changed. And the 51st time so far has not changed. Sandman Universe, Nightmare Country, James Tynion, reading for the first time ever. And time will tell if I'm going to be kicking myself for not just checking out both volumes at the same time. Because it's only 2-volume series, and library has both. So might as well. But time will tell if I'm kicking myself for not doing that. Cataclysm, Joshua Hale Fieldcroft, the first book I'll be reading of his, and also Spider-Man, that Spider-Man book that I read. So technically the second, but first time I'm checking out anything that he's written from the library, Joshua Hale Fieldcroft. And then Brian Michael Bendis, who I've checked out multiple things from him. So Josh, this is a pretty thick one, so Joshua Hale Fieldcroft will be JHF. JHF writes most of the stories in here, but Bendis writes a good amount. Bendis writes 8, and I think there's 16 issues, if not more. So, half and half at least. This is Cataclysm, The Ultimate Last Stand is the book. And it was pretty obvious, I said it. You guys knew, because I was talking about how it was the first Joshua Hale Fieldcroft book I'd be checking out from the library. Other than Spider-Man, of course. I checked them out both at the same time. That's why I'm saying Cataclysm is the first. Scalped, Jason Aaron, starting out as a reread. It's a reread to refresh. You'll finally, hopefully, be checking out volumes 9 and 10 next time, so I can finally finish the series, and definitely it will be, and then 100, and then be fully confident in adding it to my top 5. Because right now, it is top 5 material. That's of all time. And that, as I say, is that. The definitive cut of the video. Hopefully I don't yet again be like, oh well, I don't like how I said this and how I said that. No. I can't keep doing the same video over and over again.